Hello, welcome to The Clinical Teacher. I'm going to be quickly showing you through a couple of sections of the mathematics linear map from pre-K to grade 8. This video is meant to show you the features of how we sort. There are 4 variations of this linear map, but they work in similar ways. Some have more elaboration columns, including the RET elaborations or the IB abstractions, but they all work in very similar formats. For the mathematics linear map, there are 3 main sections that you can filter by. By selecting any of these tabs, it reduces the number of outcomes you have. Now it's going to show me just outcomes for geometry from all the grade levels. Let me go ahead and change this. There's already a filter applied here, so let me just clear that. So what you'll see is it gives you everything. As I click these, it will give me everything related to that specific section. So it will only show me things that within the domain of geometry. I can then add additional filters to make sure that I am looking at specific content areas. Areas will gray out or go a shade lighter. What this means is there are no outcomes in that area. If I select those, you'll notice there is nothing appearing, and there's nothing appearing because there's no outcomes present. So I want to make sure I'm only selecting the darker of the colors. So as I go through these, I can minimize what I'm looking at. I only want to look at grade 1, or I only want to look at grade 4. There's more outcomes there. And I only want to look at shape. And this will only give me the outcome for grade 4, geometry, shape. If I want to include additional items, so if I want to look at more than just the one, I can choose this multi-select tool. Now this multi-select tool works in 2 ways. One, after I select one item, I could choose the multi-select and choose an additional item. So you'll notice that in addition to having geometry or geometric reasoning, I also have location transformation added in. However, if I choose multi-select before I choose any of the items, what it does is when I select, it removes those items. So you want to make sure you do that in the order that you want. If you want to just add items to it, make sure you select the item before you choose the multi-select, or you can remove them as you go. Even when I reset it, the multi-select stays, so I have to make sure I remove that. When you want to go back to including all areas, you have to deselect the filters for each, hitting that X, which lets you have all the filters back. A couple of more advanced techniques. You will notice that, like I said, I do have these separated based on strands, not by the Common Core domain areas. I do that because I wanted to sort the units in ways that make more sense from a logical teaching standpoint. We teach money, we teach place value. We don't necessarily teach blocks of number base 10. And I prefer making these because these also connect more clearly to science and humanities units, so it actually makes it easier to make mathematical connections for transdisciplinary links. If you do want to search for sections based on the Common Core outcomes, you can type them in here. For example, I were to type in MBT, which is number base 10, and hit OK. It will only show me those outcomes that have number base 10, the MBT, in the specific Common Core standard. Using that same strategy, you can actually look for very specific Common Core outcomes for MBT 1, hit enter, and it should give me just for MBT 1. You'll see that that comes up that way. If you do this advanced filtering or this advanced searching, you do need to actually click on the filter on this corner in order to clear that filter to reset it. This same advanced filter tool can actually be used in just the elaborations. This is a very handy tool because it lets you search, for example, if I wanted to say shape. I can type in the word shape and it will only give me outcomes that specifically talk about shape. So in every outcome, you'll see right here it says shapes. Every outcome that it lists here will only be outcomes that list for shape. By doing this filter, I could then, if I wanted to, search by, for example, if I choose grade 3, I wanted to see which ones had to do with shape in grade 3. I can minimize my searching by just typing that advanced filter. So this is one of the more advanced ways that you can use it to filter. Again, to reset this tool, I do have to go in each of those sections and clear those filters. So it's a good idea to have a quick glance at the top bar to see if there's a filter on any of these. There is not. That means it's reset to the way that it was originally intended. This is meant to be just a general overview of how you work with these linear maps. There are 4 of them. I will go through the specific differences in separate videos for each of those 4. In the meantime, if you have any questions, concerns, or you just want to share some information with me, feel free to email me at TheClinicalTeacher@gmail.com. You can also find a link through our website at TheClinicalClassroom.com. Sorry, that was TheClinicalTeacher@gmail.com and TheClinicalClassroom.com. Again, any questions, feel free to send it through. You can also find us on the Teachers Pay Teachers website. And we're happy to do whatever we can to help make your lives a little bit easier as teachers, as we are both teachers and administrators. Thanks, and we hope you have a wonderful time with the tool.